Hello everyone, it is news time again. Please don't go far from this channel. Always stay glued. Turn on your notification bell. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel so that you'll be getting our prompts every time. Truth is out now. It is time to restore Biafra. You can't hide this truth forever. Yes, I think Africans are wiser now. They are waking up. This our brother is opening a lot of things, can of worms here and there, hidden truths. I want you to follow this video to the end. In fact, you will thank God that it is coming our way. God bless you all.
We restore Biafra. Can't be changing hyenas with foxes. People who want to maintain relation. Pipes of oil are running through Nigeria to the Shell and British Petroleum gas, and people on the sides of those pipes are starving with hunger. Politicians want to come up and tell us section what, which section is hunger? Truth must be told. Talking about these new African revolutionaries, the West want to call them, these are militias, these are coup d'etats, these are what. Yeah, they are coup d'etats because leaders that you don't have control over are coming into power. Yeah, get that part right. All along you've been manipulating the system. You've been manipulating the system. You give money this side, give money this side, and manage it, and boom, boom, there's a president, and the president is your puppet, and you make him sign some treaties. He guarantees you still have your business running, and what makes the European and the Western world angry is when you have a president in power whom they cannot control. Now let me talk about Zimbabwe, and then I'll move to the Francophone. You see, Mugabe was fine. Mugabe was beautiful because he signed and he agreed, educated. They gave him more than 42 degrees, professor, doctor. He was in good books because he agreed and set up straight and says, I will not touch land, I will play by the books, and I will obey all the laws that you want to do, because he thought that the white people were honest people, that when they tell you something, they will honor their word. And 25 years later into power, Mugabe then wakes up one morning to discover, hey, Mfethu, this thing is not what you think it is. These guys are not going to change their minds. It's a bunch of liars. It's a bunch of liars. They make you sign one thing, they decide they're doing as a country. When you look at the new politicians that are coming up into the space, Burkina Faso and Mali and Guinea-Bissau and Guinea-Conakry and Chad and Rwanda and all the Francophone countries which have been keeping the French government and the French economy running for the rest of the time immemorial and history. Now the balls are changing. New political leaders are coming into space who don't know who Macron is, who don't know where France is, who don't know where Paris is. And they are coming up with new political conversations. Africa comes first. If you look into what they are saying right there, you'll find it very interesting, because what they are submitting to the rest of the world, particularly to the French government, it is exactly what we have been saying for the longest of time, that if you want African resources, then you need to come to Africa and beneficiate those resources. If you want African, coffee, or be it gold, or be it whatever you want, make sure that you don't just grab these things and walk away, but come to the land and beneficiate those resources and make them good. So France and Benin, yes, thank you very much. Benin, Niger, and Burkina Faso, and thank you very much, Armando. And Benin and Niger in particular stands up with a new leader there who says no more colonialism. And France gets excited. Macron, I think, is still wet behind the ears. And he blurts out some unprecedented, no, dare you, after the coup in Niger or Niger, whatever you want to call it. If you don't restore our old president, the one that we have an agreement with, if you don't put him back into power, we are going to put you on sanctions. We are going to protect our interests. That's what France is saying. They want to protect their interests. What are their interests in Niger? What are their interests that they must protect? So you need to put back the president, or else we're going to come for war. And the military general, maybe sometimes I just love the war generals, says, dare you speak war. And 2, 3, 4 other countries on the sides of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, and etc. If you touch Niger, you are declaring war, and all of us are coming out for war. And while you are on that you want to protect your interests, now we understand what war is all about. War is about resources. War has nothing to do with human rights. War is resources. War is resources. Then our honorable president in Niger wakes up in the morning and whoop, chops off the gold exports to France. Boom, chops off the uranium exports to Niger. Niger remains one of the biggest producers of uranium. Cuts it off. And France is now in a messed up state, because they also cut off their gas with Russia to support America. And now, because they were hoping that they will use the uranium from Niger for their power stations to run France, now they are cut off in Russia. They are now cut off in Africa, in Niger. So you find that uranium has now become the new password for war. The Western world, they want the uranium for power generation, etc. And he says, if you want uranium, you're going to come to Niger, build the plant in Niger, and get your power from there to power yourselves in France, so that if you misbehave, we will switch off. I just love this test. What Putin did when Europe was misbehaving, he just went to the tap of gas and just turned. He didn't switch it off totally. He just turned down a little bit, and the whole Europe, people are freezing in the cold. And this guy says, if you want our uranium, you come to Niger, you put your plant right here, you build it here, and then you put your cables to go to France. And when we don't like what you're doing, we will switch off power. Let's see what will happen to your industries, will happen to your households, and etc. So France is caught between the hard rock and the deep sea. They don't know whether to now bow down to the new general, or to organize a coup d'etat and organize some insurgencies and mercenaries. And by the way, Burkina Faso and Niger, they have nothing to lose on the stopping of uranium exports. There is nothing to lose because they never benefited from the uranium. It was just being dug and sent out. So just stop it. It's not we who are going to get cold. It's not we who are going to be freezing in the cold. Africa is warm. Africa is hot. We will find other people that are interested in helping and working with us for our own development. So there we have it. In Burkina Faso and Niger and Chad and Mali and Guinea and Conakry and other countries, all the francophones are waking up to smell the coffee. If you want us to send you coffee, Thomas Sinkara, want us to send you our coffee, you're gonna come here and you're gonna put the coffee plant on the ground. Then you take it as a final product, the countries where you are. There you are. So if you want any resource from our country, you come here and you put your plant here. We will send you the final product. See what it does to the value chain. So in Zimbabwe, we've started off the lithium embargo. No more export of lithium. Chrome must be beneficiated here. Lithium here. I'm just waiting for platinum also. Close the thing. Gold We are going to close up even in a few months maybe. We're going to even close this export of gold out of this country, because now we're creating a gold coin, a crypto kind of coin, so we don't even need to dig it. It is there. It is there. And the fact that it's there is guaranteed that it's there. You can create a piece of paper that you can take to the bank, and you can trade on paper while our resources are remaining where they are. So people are getting intelligent. They're not as stupid. These things we've been talking about for the longest of time, or the transformation of the African space in my lifetime. I will not die before I see Africa coming together, waking up and facing up a white man. Listen to Ruto speaking to Marcon. No, Chief, no, Chief. What you are saying and what you are doing are not the same thing. Listen, Marcon says, no, we're talking trade. Ruto says, whoa. We are not saying the same thing. We are talking here. Behavior is different. Listen to Museveni talking. Listen to Mnangagwa talking. Listen to Malema talking. Listen to Masisi talking in Botswana, telling the Afrikaner government, the Oppenheimers, you are not going to be having to giving us 2, 3, 4% of our diamonds per year. We are not going to be renewing your license. Either you change the way you are doing things, or we will not renew the license. So we begin to see, yes, we still have a few African leaders who are still trying to pussyfoot around these Europeans as if they are scared of them when they see a white man in a suit. Oh, yes, boss, or boss kind of thing. Hey, but the times are changing. Times are changing. A new ball game coming on board. That's why maybe I don't support Chamisa. We are messing it up. The real politics right now, China and Russia are a transition, but they're a transition with an informed audience that now wants to begin to speak its own narrative. What is that narrative all about? It's Africa owning its resources, Africa owning its own time and destiny, Africa breaking the chains of colonialism. There is no need for any African country to be paying taxes to Europe, to America, to France, to Britain. No. The sympathy of the Chinese and the Russians is at least in the midst of the colonialism. We can now get some bridges, get some hospitals, and get this and this. Resources that we could not normally have, and in the midst of sanctions, we could not access those things. But by no ways are these lands and pieces of transactions being done at a sale point of view. These are leases, some of them 20 years, some of them 35 years, some of them 99 years, but we are not selling the land. Not again. Land is not for sale. Chamisa must go home. He is irrelevant. He is irrelevant. If he had listened to me some 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I tried to talk to him, he would not be in this mess. But he thinks he knows too much. Thinks he's more informed. He thinks he's well alert. And unfortunately, he will miss the plane. The leadership that we need, I don't even care who goes into power. Whether it is the army general, or it is the police commissioner, or it is whoever, I don't care. What I care about when you get into power, what are you going to be doing about our people? What are you doing about our resources? What are you doing about transforming our culture? What are you doing about transforming our media space? What are you doing about pursuing our own ethics and moral values? Those are the things that are important to me. So the new African politician needs to put his ear on the ground and put his finger on the pulse and understand that the people that you are now leading as African people, they are no longer just small people in the country who can say, viva this, yeah, we can see right through you. The other day, BT was on the line here. BT himself, hey, we are spooks. Doma. Don't touch me. I have people behind me who will support me. Maybe it's high time we understand exactly who is behind you and bring those people to the front. Because those are the people who want to engage and do politics with. Not doing politics in a Doma. Ghosts that pretend to be here, yet they are representing other people that are in the background. We want to deal with those people that are in the background. Put them to the fore. I would rather deal with a white man than deal with a black man who has been sent by a white man. So The whole of North Africa, Central Africa is on flames. And let all other African countries begin to understand it's no longer politics as usual. It's no longer politics as usual. You people who are going to be voting new leaders, don't just vote leaders because they speak well and they're good in English. Look for leaders who are clear on the agenda of the restoration of Africa, the unification of Africa, the one currency for Africa, the borderless Africa, one military base for Africa. Start talking business of the unification of Africa. We are not wasting time on these social spaces telling you these things. These things that we are telling you will come to pass. Will come to pass, whether you like it or not. For it is an era and an age of transformation. And those who resist this transformation will become part of the history of the manure at the back of the house. So start thinking, start progressing. So no more uranium. And Cameroon president, and I think he must rest. He must rest. If he's tired, he must rest and give, or else, if he, not just he must rest, he must listen. Send him the video. Maybe before he rests, he can change. We don't have time I don't care who is the leader. We care what is the agenda. Doesn't matter who is the leader. Is the agenda. Whether it is Hakainde, or it is Nangagwa, or it is whoever. The issue is not changing hyenas with foxes. It's putting a leader there who just changes the agenda. Changes the agenda. So if the Cameroonian president can get this video and say, hey, Cameroonian president, stop your pussyfooting around the French people. Align yourself with Burkina Faso. Align yourself with Mali. Align yourself with Niger and start talking one Francophone politics. This could transform the entire of the Francophone countries. So if that's what we're looking for. So it's not just change politics, change leaders, and then we run on the streets for 5 days. The leader goes there, it's still the same agenda. If whoever is there, share the video with them. We need them to change their minds. And even my honorable friend and brother, Honorable Hakainde, I also challenge you, listen to this video. Listen very well. We need you, honorable, to start changing your politics. We understand your economics. We understand the background where you're coming from. And I truly respect you as a brother, well known to me. But in the midst of that, I don't think that all the Zambians are happy with some of the pro-West policies that you are promoting. So align yourself, because you're going to leave Zambia behind when other countries are running forward. Same message that I'll say to Masisi in Botswana, an honorable brother to me that I respect greatly. Beautiful policies that you have, but please watch out for this American base that is in your country, which is challenging our sister country in South Africa, challenging Zimbabwe and Namibia and Zambia, because you can actually kill the whole of the SADC region from your own country, Honorable Masisi. So you cannot be drinking coffee with America and America will be killing your brothers and you can still go home to sleep after that. So this is the kind of conversation we want, whether it is Mozambican president, South Africa, and Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa, you are missing it. You are missing it. You're one of the richest men in Africa. I've never seen a man who can forget that he has 40. I got it from a good source that it was actually not 4 million US dollars. It was 40 million US dollars. 40 million US dollars. You forget that kind of sofa? You forget that kind of money on your sofa. You forget 40 million US dollars on your sofa. Whereas the road that goes to your mother's place in Venda is not tarred. The clinic that your mother is collecting high blood pressure tablets from, that clinic has no medicine. The school that you went to study has no desks and there's no electricity. And you sit there and you forget 40 million US dollars on your sofa, on your couch. Stop lying, Ramaphosa. I think you need help. You need help. And even if I see you, I'll tell you on your face. You need help, like serious help. Because I don't think you're doing black people a favor. You're sacrificing 52 million people of that beautiful country for your own interests. Of course, I have nothing much about Malawi. Malawi, join the battle. Join the battle. I don't know how you can join the battle. Food security comes to my heart right now. You still have one of the best best weathers in the whole of Africa. See how you can contribute meaning to the food security space and have your place. Kenya, dear to me. I love Ruto, what he's doing there. Tanzania, a bit of a slump, but we're waiting for the honorable lady there to pull up her socks and join the battle. But we begin to see this is not official. And in the midst of all these things that are happening, Africa Union is silent. Silent. What is his name? This guy, is it Karfe or Kofi? No, what's his name? Fake is quiet. Hey, Africa Union will come there and help the French to put back the old president. Hey, Fake, you will die before your time. Go home. You have done your public relations and diplomatic things across the world. It's expired. You are irrelevant as a body. You are irrelevant as a politician. You are irrelevant as an African. You are just a puppet European francophone. There is no leadership whatsoever we expect from the African Union as far as these issues are concerned. We as the young people at the bottom, we are going to champion our own change. I will have no political office, but we will influence our people to begin to think differently. And the way they look at you, the way they look at their presidents, the way they look at their economics, the way they look at the outlook of life will never be the same. You will never know what hit you. You can remove us from the picture, but the seeds that we have planted of the liberation of the African people will not be accomplished by killing one person. If you don't study well, Farke, see what happened in Libya at the death of Muammar Gaddafi. You thought you had removed him from the picture. Now you have 250 Muammar Gaddafis that are popping up from everywhere, from underneath your seat. Much more violent and radical than Muammar Gaddafi was. Were you ready for that? Were you ready for that? There's nothing that can stop on the path whose revolution has come. So yes, we are going for votes in 2023 here in Zimbabwe. We are not going to vote for anyone else. We're going to be voting for ZANU-PF here in Zimbabwe. Don't get mixed up. Don't get mixed up. You say one thing, you say another thing. I'm not a popularist, and neither should you try to be a popularist. Be honest and be truthful. Politics of Africa is changing, and we are happy. We're happy to be watching this beautiful space changing. Kudos to all. Bonjour, talez-vous, whatever that means. I don't know what it means. My French ends there. But big ups to Niger, big ups to Chad, big ups to Burkina Faso, big ups to Guinea, big ups to all the French countries, Burundi, Rwanda, big ups. And we hope that you can turn our guns and free up Congo. And when once Congo is free and the French is off our backs, and these Roman Dutch and the Belgians are off our backs, Africa will be able to be restored to the glory that it deserves, to the glory that it deserves. And we in the English colonies, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, South Africa, and Botswana, we need to start talking also and say, how do we, because the colonial regimes cannot be telling us about democracy, which they are breaking in their own countries. We need to start talking about how best do we come together, call for justice. Yes, not forgetting Mali, not forgetting Senegal. I came to Senegal there, Usumbeju. I even got my Kora. I got a Kora from Senegal. Beautiful, beautiful country. And it's time up. Nigeria too. It's time that we restore Biafra. Can't be changing hyenas with foxes. People who want to maintain the relation. Pipes of oil are running through Nigeria to the Shell and British Petroleum gas, and people on the sides of those pipes are starving with hunger. The politicians want to come up and tell us section what, which section is hunger? Truth must be told. Take those pipes from British Petroleum, put them into the refinery that Dangote has built, then sell the final product to the rest of the world. You'd rather have Dangote as a trillionaire and he's African, and we begin to sell fully refined oil out of Nigeria rather than sending it as it is. Nigerian government, work with Dangote. Dangote is one of you. Send that oil through his refinery. He cleans it up. Have agreements and percentages. How much does he give the government? How much does he take himself? How much does he put into the community? I leave that to your genius. But you cannot be pulling oil out of the Delta State into Britain and hope that your people will be rich ever. Here we are, 40, 60, 90 years later, and this pipe is running here, and we wonder why there's so much war until we begin to think constructively. We constantly run in circles. The Francophone countries have finally woken up to smell the coffee, and literally the coffee. Because part of the war right now in France, it is coffee war. Where do we take our coffee? Who processes it? Where do we take our gold? Who processes it? Where do we take our uranium? Who processes it? And if you want our uranium, you want our coffee, you want our oil, you're going to come here and build the factory here. So for Zimbabwe, if China wants our lithium, you need to put the lithium plant here and make the lithium batteries here. Then we export lithium batteries instead of exporting raw materials. Because when we export the batteries, we're creating jobs and improving our GDP, our imports and export, and our currency will start going. We will witness, before I die, we will witness Africa with one currency, one stock exchange, one army, one flag, one national anthem, and we'll hold hands together as brothers and sisters on the continent as we give our grandchildren a new gift of a new dispensation, an Africa united, with a chair on the Security Council, with its own nuclear power station, with its own currency, the Mansa Musa coin, with no passport around the continent, and synchronized academic qualification, one common language for the people to speak, our own TV stations, our own satellite dishes in the air, and African will begin to speak here on narratives that no other man can talk about. I look forward to that. I look forward to that, and I'm living to witness that. With those few words, brothers and sisters, I thank you. Namaste. May the gods of the land shine upon our faces, giving us peace of mind. May you always be admirable and lovable. Rains fall gently on your crops and give you good harvests. Let the neighbors find you also to be a good neighbor. And may the winds blow gently on our faces in the night. And let not our seas consume our wives and children by day or by night. Let the peace of the omnipotent, he who created us all, Gayama himself, Same, may constantly rest and abide with us, causing his countenance to shine upon our faces, we people of the skin, whose skin has been kissed by the sun. Until we see you again, stay away from trouble. Don't do what I wouldn't do, but if you do it better.
Thank you, brotherly. This is very striking. It is time to liberate Africa. The freedom has come. Something just triggered that freedom. Let's not allow it to die down. Don't allow the politicians to talk you down because they are benefiting from this corruption. Let us recover our land, our resources, and safeguard it. Yes, please share this video, like, and subscribe to this very channel. God bless you all.